Good morning, everyone. I'm back at the modelling desk to work back on the ship, and I suppose today I'm going to continue on with this section here. I do have these made up already. They fit in the backwards area. As you can see, one is slightly higher. One is slightly higher than the other to allow for these to sit, but they don't actually knock into each other. But front on, as you can see, they're alright. But I'm actually not going to leave these on, because when I paint the superstructure, I've got to do a certain paint job on all these, and all these little bits and pieces here are all going to be a little bit of a problem. So I'm going to take them off for the moment, but I just thought I'd show you with them on and why they are a certain way. And yeah. Let me grab this. I'm pretty sure I've got a box here of all the bits and pieces I made up, and as I make them up, so I don't lose them, I put them in this little box here. Yeah. According to this has the doors going this way, backwards, like so. Let's put a dab of glue on that. Bit more cement. This is Tammy's extra thin. Let's put that over here a bit. I should really be using my lens. As you can see, we're just sort of working on this section here. The next section we'll actually work on, which we just put the hut in, is this. But I'll also be leaving, I'll build this, but again, I'm not going to paint this on there. I'm going to paint it separately for the same reason that this is going to be, I believe it's a darker color, and it'll be in the way of the superstructure when I do the different paints. This painting has 3 different colors, so there's a light, a medium, and a dark, and just all this stuff will get in the way. So yeah, I'm just going to remove this also for the time being. Put those 2 in there. My little box of stuff. Yeah. Alright, so the mast is here. I'll just pause it there for a second. Okay, I'm back. So as you can see, needed B10, D15, D11, and looks like D21. On my sprues, I tag every one of them both ways, so I know exactly which one's which when I'm looking at 10 of them or so. Just turn that around. Yeah. So we need, start off with the B. We need B10. which is, looks like that one there. Just check, looking at the picture, making sure there's no extra bits on here, because sometimes there is. So we'll just chop that off there. The side on there, there's got the two little hooks and the bar. So which means we don't want that section there. Oh, I should have chopped that one first. Okay. Now, as you can see, it needs a bit of cleaning up. Right? What are you trying to zoom in on? Hang on, we'll zoom out. So we'll just clean that up for a second. This is going to be fairly hard because it's got a bit of stuff on there, and that one in there is not so bad, but there's a bit of stuff on here that's going to take some real finessing to clean up. Alright, anyway, I'll come back in a minute. As you can see, this is really, really difficult to clean. I don't want to break it. Come back around a bit more. I reckon that's pretty good. It's a little bit more still in here. There's still some more on there. Wow, this is really hard to clean. I've got to get it so I can hold it and clean it. Okay, I reckon that's pretty good. This section here should be no problem to clean. Okay, that's pretty good. See that? All cleaned up, ready to go. Where's my little brush? Alright, that's the first piece anyway. Okay. Next piece is D15. So what we'll do, we'll just come out of there. There we go. So we'll just take that piece off first. And then that piece. Okay. Now, well, that is a little bit of rubbish. Okay, so let's try and clean this one up as well. It's done. Put that with the next one. Alright. Okay, D11. Again, a lot of very fine pieces on here. So we will chop that one. and I think we'll chop that one. Let's spin that around. We will chop that one and that one, and that should be released. And it is. Okay, again, this has got some marks on it from the sprue that need to be cleaned off. So I'll come back in a second and I'll clean those off. Okay, I'm back. I've cleaned it all up. As you can see, just while I'm here, just be careful not to chop that last little bit off there. So there, or at the end there, because looking at the plan, that needs to be there. So yeah, anyway, that's it, cleaned up. The piece cleaned up pretty nice, I think. There you go. All right, next piece. I came back to this piece because I realised this is like a sort of deck stand on the mast, and just to get those tiny little areas off here and make it look a bit straighter. There's another one on the side there actually. I'm just going to give it a quick sand. So there it is, all sanded up. You've got to be a little bit careful when you sand them, because sometimes you can actually round off the edges, and if you're putting two pieces of squares together, sometimes they don't always match up, because when you round it off, it's no longer square. Anyway, the last piece we need for this is this one here. It's really fine as well, so I'll get on and cut that off. Again, we got him off, but as you can see, there's sprue marks all over it. And I've got to be extra careful with this because of how thin it is to clean it all up. I'll come back in a second. Wow, that actually took a lot more cleaning up than I thought. It had quite a lot of sprue points on it that needed to be cleaned off. Anyway, okay, now that all the parts are clean, I can put it together. Okay, we got these pieces. We got B10, D5. Somehow I'm going to get this one here on top of here. Like so. And then somehow glue it. I'm actually going to do this one back to front. So if I zoom in like that, I'm going to put a dab of glue on there, just like so. And then fit the mast on top. Hold for a few seconds. So I'm trying to line this up with this. Get it roughly in position. And then once I'm fairly happy with that, I will put an extra piece of glue on there. That way as well. So I'm trying to do this while filming. Yeah. Again, I'm sort of a little bit out of focus there. See that? You've got to be a little bit careful with the glue. I mean, it didn't stick to my hands, but obviously a little bit of glue came out, and there's a little bit of residue on the end of that. See that there? With barely got my fingerprint in it. So now I'll have to clean that off. So fairly happy with that. So we are level across here and level this way. I think so, yeah. That way. So you want it in line with that pipe that goes through there. Okay, I'll put the next piece on. Hang on. Nope. Before I put the next piece on, I'm going to have to let this dry a bit, because the more I fiddle with it, the more it's very, very loose. And to put the next piece of the mast on, I really need this to be set. So I'll come back in a few minutes. Off camera, I stood this up on the table on its edge, and then basically spun it around to see how plumb it actually is. Yeah, it's pretty small, that piece. Anyway, I'm ready to put the next piece on. Okay, so bit of glue ready. Try and flood that little hole there a little bit. We took too much off. Oh, needs more. That's too much, but anyway. Might take some of that off actually. Where are we? So the next piece goes on like so for the mast. And again, we've got that whole plumb thing going on again, unless it's actually, no, it looks like it's meant to be straight, so well, there it is. I'll zoom out. I'll just, again off camera, I've got to straighten this, so anyway, just trying to get it dead level. I get it right one way, and then I got to try and get it right the other way. So the last thing you want is a crooked mast. So just keep finessing with it a little bit until she's all done. The trick here is, once you get it pretty much how you like it on all angles, while the glue is still wet, just walk away and leave it. Alright, I'll come back when this is dry so I can put the next piece on. Okay, I'm back. While I was waiting for this to dry, I did notice I actually did make a small mistake. So this piece here, which I thought was some sort of light or a siren or something, is actually not meant to be there. So it must be part of the sprue. So I'm going to come back and take that off. I don't know if you can see. Look. So yeah, as you can see in the plan, that little piece there, I don't know if I can get it back now, go that way, yeah, that little piece there shouldn't be there, so I'll take him off. Sometimes the more you fiddle with these, the worse they get, so what you're really aiming for is this to look like a spear that pierced through that bit of flooring there. So it's pretty crucial on the model that this is dead straight, like from all angles, just so when it goes on, looks good. It's a crucial part of the ship. Okay, now we want to try and dry fit this. It's probably going to be there and there. Yeah, I think that'll work. I'll come back after I've glued him on. Nope. Well, there it is on. believe it or not, it was more difficult than I thought. I ended up laying this bottom piece down and then putting the mast on top of it. And again, I know I'm off camera a little bit. You're really aiming for I don't know if I can get that. It doesn't look quite right on the camera, but because the camera is actually on the angle, but you're really aiming for it to be like a triangle. So when that sits, the mast is not crooked. So what I might do, I'll come back in a second. I'm just trying to dry fit this, and I'm not sure if there's a problem because the plans weren't very clear whether this should be on top of here or on top of the actual mast there itself. And I don't really think you can fit in there anyway, so the reason I placed it here was because it was the only place I could place it. But when I fit it onto the superstructure, the mast is crooked, but I can always trim up these legs to make it fit. I just thought I'd let you know. Okay, this is it dry fitted. I can zoom in. Dry fitted. I'll turn it around better for the camera. Probably looks a bit lopsided, so let's just see what we can do here. So this is why I was saying the mast is so important, and you got to take your time with it, because if it's a crooked mast, you're going to forever see it. So that is it dry fitted. And this is what I was saying about the angle. Again, the camera angle's not helping me here. I think it looks pretty straight, but as I said, I can adjust those little back legs down here if I need to once I actually fit it. But this is not being glued on. Today, this will be painted separately and put on afterwards. But that's the mast. Yeah, we'll just let it dry off, and we'll put that to one side. I think we'll call it quits for this one, and I'll see you on the next one. See you later.